Hello, hello. Hope you're doing okay today. And I'm excited to be able to stream this. Just an idea I had the other day. I was talking with somebody who's wanting to like track planting or watering their plants. And I was like, oh, that seems like kind of a cool app. So, like many things, I put it on a long list of app ideas or website ideas. And thought it might be fun to build out today. I don't know if I were going to build this out like with auth and everything else, exactly what I would choose right now. But I figured it makes sense for me to just keep playing with AstroDB and make sure I have a good sense of how to use it, without having to look up everything constantly in the docs. And the only way I know to do that is just by building stuff over and over again. So hopefully, hopefully this is enjoying. What am I cooking today? Plants. Well, not really, like a water tracker for plants. Okay, so with that said, let me just transition over. Hi, officially. Hope you're doing okay. Let me know if the volume is off in any way. I do have a hard stop today, so I got to be kind of efficient. So we're going to move a little bit quicker. And so hopefully you're familiar with Astro and know at least kind of what AstroDB is, which is their database solution. We're going to go, like I said, fairly quickly, I think. But I've said that before. I just designed this thing yesterday afternoon. I was watching my kids and thought, let me design this while I'm watching them. So I did. So it might suffer some, and maybe they suffered some from my attention, but I think everything is okay. So the idea here is that you've got these plants that you can add. They have images, which right now I'd have to figure out a way to like upload images somewhere. So for right now, I'll probably just use placeholder images. You give it a name. You give it, let's see, you would have to give it when you last watered it, or maybe when the next watering is, something like that. Yeah, probably when the next watering is. How frequently it should be watered, which I'll have to calculate. The location it's at, and then all the rest of this I think can be calculated. And then basically every day you log into the app, which again right now I don't have auth planned for this. This is just a fun project for, somebody could use personally, but you would log in and it would show you anything that was due that day. You'd water it, mark it watered, and it basically would return down here. So we could use like some kind of form that submits to this page, maybe with view transitions, and it should like slot down this way. I don't know if we're going to get to that today. Not sure if I'm going to do like plain CSS or Tailwind. If you have a preference, let me know. But okay, so that's kind of the plan for today. Other than designing this thing out, I haven't put a lot of thought into how I'm going to do this, but it's not super complex. We've got a little modal right here. I hesitate to like constantly be rebuilding a lot of these components on stream over and over again, but that's what I do anyhow. So you get nothing but the truth here. I'm just going to do whatever I normally would do. And so, yeah. Let's see. Before you start, recent Astro tutorial based on your recent with Node SDK tutorial you posted recently. Astro's no avail. Okay. The hard thing there is like you would need to have some kind of auth. Otherwise, you're just allowing anybody to send stuff. So especially for your endpoints, to be able to hit those endpoints. So I just would want to do that in a way that's like safe and secure, because even if I say like do this behind auth, then people still don't. So at some point it's not my problem, but so yeah. Single compact in the okay. Okay. Well, I have done something with Resend and Astro. I think I have at least semi recently, so check that out. But yeah, I'll probably end up doing something with Resend. I would make sure you have server-side rendering turned on, Andres, and like so you'd want server-side rendering turned on either with server mode, which means everything is server-side rendered, or hybrid, and then you have to mark the individual route as pre-render false, so that way it doesn't pre-render it, and then you should be able to post to that endpoint, and then it's just a matter of making sure you hooked up to the SDK properly. Okay, so with that said, I haven't even started a project yet. I should mention, if you're interested in learning more about Astro, I do have this course that I am working on, and it's been several weeks since I've released a module, but it's because I'm working on kind of a massive project that will cover all of this kind of all at once. And so I'm getting close to feeling like I can shoot the video for that. So hopefully these will go fast once I do. And then these are actually connected to it as well. So we're going to kind of stick with the same thing so we don't have to rebuild components and stuff is kind of the idea. Okay, so let me come over here. We're going to npm create Astro at latest. That's fine. We'll say live stream water. What do we call this? Plantopia? I don't know. Maybe I was watching too many movies with my kids. Let's say live stream Plantopia and build this out. You had SSR. Okay. Yes, but the Astro tutorial was for sending emails. Okay, so you're just wanting it to connect it to the audience DB. Okay. It should be the same concept, just swap out the endpoints for the one I did in that video, but I'll see what I can do. I want to be, at some point I've been wanting to do some kind of newsletter. I hate emails, so I've resisted for a long time, but I'm like, there's just lots of cool tools I find basically, or articles, and so it would probably be like once a month, and I would send an email out, and I'm sure it's good for, I don't know, building my audience, which I don't care about. I just want to code, but sure. So anyhow, I might do that, and if I do that, I could do a tutorial on how to build that endpoint using Astro, because that's probably what I would use, is build out a landing page, and then probably use resend that way too. So maybe I can do that and post on my channel too. All right, what should we use here? Why Astro, not Next? For this project in particular, I don't know. I probably would use Next, I think, right now, because this is literally just an app. But because I'm working on this Astro course, I'm wanting to just keep repping this so that I don't have to constantly look everything up in the documentation. So right now I'm just trying to stick in Astro. But I think I probably would use Next because it's purely just an app. There's no real benefit to the content. So I think I probably would use Next on this if I were doing it in real life. But like I said, I'm trying to just rep using Astro for the sake of my course. It makes it easier when I'm building it out. Plus, I might do something like this in my course, one of my course projects. We'll see. Oh boy, this is taking some time. But hopefully you're doing all right today. Let's see. Hey, Dante, welcome. Happy to take any more questions while we're waiting on NPM to do its thing. Trader. Trader because I would use Next. Astro's like the Switzerland of frameworks. You can do whatever you want, you know? That's what I think. Okay, let's do, what are we going to do? NPX, Astro. NPX, Astro, add. We're going to do React probably. I don't know, probably Vercel. I don't even know. Let's use Vercel, that's fine. What else do we want? DB, Astro icon probably. Do you want to use Tailwind? I don't know. I haven't heard anything, so let's just not use Tailwind for now. Maybe that will be something I regret. I think Tailwind's quick for demos, but like I still prefer writing my own CSS. But a lot of times on stream, I've been using Tailwind recently. So I don't know. Let me know if I should be doing that. Happy to take any other questions while we're waiting on whatever's going on right here. Nothing currently, so. Like I mentioned, if you're interested in my Astro course, you're welcome to check it out. Yes, please. And there is a coupon code for $10 off. So you can get it for $75 right now in early preview. I think it's like water plants. It's in the description to this video. So if you're interested in that and haven't picked it up, you're welcome to do that. And I'm getting really excited about finishing it off. It's taken longer than I thought. There's just so much to do. And since this is literally just something I do for fun in the evenings and the early mornings, you know, stuff happens. It takes a while. So I'm going to open this up using my Coding in Public VS Code profile. And let me swap everything over and I'll be back with you. All right, let's get this up over here. Oh, and I opened the wrong thing anyhow, so good thing. Plantopia. Now we're going to CD, open this thing up. I'll be right back. Use Tailwind. Use Tailwind. Okay. Well, I guess I'm using Tailwind now. The people have spoken. It doesn't really matter to me because you have to know CSS anyhow. So, I mean, yeah, you have to memorize a couple of classes, but they're pretty intuitive. So, npx Astro add Tailwind, and I'll jump back over. So we're going to add Tailwind as well because Jason and L channel want it. And Jason and L channel will get what they want. But to be fair, nobody else said anything, so. And this is taking a while today. I don't know what's going on. Parse it up in global CSS. For real, you know? I mean, what's not to love about a good CSS variable? That's what I think. All right, sure, that's fine. Whatever. Okay. npm run dev. Let's get this thing up and running. I'll come over here. Of course, I trust it. It's me. Okay. Let's see. We got our pages here. Let's see. I'm gonna come over here and add this thing that I can never remember how to do. Let's see. Alias. Import aliases. Yes, yes. Thank you. Compiler options. I need that too. Okay. Components. Why don't I just do star like this? This could be here. And then we'll do at UI. And this could be components UI. Because I usually do stuff like that. Okay. All right, I'm probably just going to work. If people have questions, let me know. But I'm just repping Astro today. Just doing it over and over again. Let's see. Components. Nope. Layouts. I don't know that I'll have any other routes, but why not? Base layout. .astro. It's usually what I call these things. Okay. And here we'll have this be title. Meta name. Description. The content will be a description like this. All right, perfect. And then we'll say const title description astro.props. I typically like to do like site data either as a different file or just as a constant. Site data equals, and then we'll do title will be Plantopia, and then description, a app for tracking watering your plants. And then for both of these, what we'll do is say that the defaults should be site data dot title or description or whatever. And that way, if I don't pass something in, we've got it set. All right, then let's drop everything. We've got a nav that we'll eventually have in here, which I'll probably just write directly here, I think. I don't know, maybe not. I don't know if we'll have a footer. And then I'll have the main content here, which is where we'll slot everything in. Okay, so all we're doing is telling Astro this is going to be kind of a layout wrapper component I'm going to use, and that way I can use just kind of one thing and be set to go. Let me come over here, and we've got this favicon already here. Let me grab, I think I grabbed this from Radix. Yeah, we're going to plant fill this thing. So this will be our new favicon, which is getting pulled in right here. Anything else I need here? I don't think so. Okay, so let's come back to the index. And here we'll just replace this with base layout. And we'll slot everything in here where we just say homepage or whatever. And let's open this up. Localhost 4321. Let's see. Do you use Rack for things such as forms, drop-downs, or pop-ups? Yeah, it just kind of depends. I've been writing a lot more components in TSX just because like you don't have to hydrate them, so it doesn't really make sense to necessarily scope to Astro unless you have some kind of advantage for doing that. But there we go, we get this working. There's our little favicon. And let's see, I'm not getting my title to come through. So let's just check that I did that correctly. Title equals site data dot title. Maybe it's just not showing properly there. See the head. Title is nothing. Description is an app. So $10 says that's not how you do that. Well, that would make sense. Okay, now it says Plantopia. The world is good. Let's come back over here. I'm going to add a couple other things. npmi. Oh, I did use Tailwind container queries the other day, which was kind of fun. I found a use case for it. What do you use for the icon search? That is Raycast with the Iconify extension. It's free. What do I want to add? Tailwind merge. And what else? Class variance authority, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to get. I need to chill out. I don't want to create a bunch of work for myself. Well, I mean, I do, but I don't have enough time this morning to like build out components the way I really would. Even though I got started a little early, I've got to take my son to a doctor's appointment all day. So, okay, let's start building this thing out. And let's see. Let me start with this header area. What typeface did I use here? Bitter. That's right. So let's come over here to the head. Our base layout. Normally I would do this using something like local fonts, but ain't nobody got time for that today, so we're gonna just Google font it. So Google Fonts. Bitter. Again, Tailwind. Or not Tailwind, Raycast. Let's do 400. I don't know what I did in the design, but I made up the design so I can do whatever I want. Let's say, sure. Maybe we should just have something like that. So let's grab this and drop this in here. I'll put in my Tailwind config. I typically like my container class to do a little bit more, so I would center it true, and then padding. You can have like a default, right? I think you can have like, let's do like 1.25 rem or something like that. And then you can have it for different screen sizes too. So let's do medium, 2 rem, and we'll call it a day. Font family. Let's see. I think it's like, Tailwind. Font family. This. That's right. And then we'll call this bitter. Except this is serif. Does that work? Yeah, I think so. And then for sans, I think I did end up using something. But I think I could just use the default. So that should be working. Let's come over here. Default theme is not defined. Well, what did I mess up there? This is default theme. Oh. I have to like import that? Oh, this was... Okay. Is that better? Something like that. Okay. Now let's come over here and add some basic classes. So this would be like font serif, right? Yeah. Let's do max width of 2000 pixels just to make sure if someone has ultra wide monitor, this stays in the middle. MX Auto. I don't know what I want to use for my. Let's just use like text black or something like that. Background white. I don't like that. Let's do 50. Just at least have some kind of something. Let's do slate 950. I think that works. Let's come inside here. We're going to have a link. This will go home. So let's make sure we label it that way. Go home. What else do we need? Class. Let's do flex. Items center. Gap 1.5 maybe. I'll have two things in here. We're going to have an icon, which I'll pull in from Astro icon, even though it's not working right now. What else do I want? The name, Plantopia. So we'll say span. Plantopia. Class. This needs to be bold. And then let's pull this thing in up here. I know. Import icon from Astro icon. Astro icon components. Awesome. CVA. I wanted to add it, but I didn't because then I knew I'd try to build out really complex components. What do you use the icon search for? Oh no, somebody already asked me that. Okay, I think I answered all the questions. Okay, icon over here, we're going to say the name here is plant. And we'll say size is like, I don't know, 24 or something like that. maybe actually I made it bigger. Right now it's going to yell at me because I don't have this in here yet. So let's add these all at the same time. So we'll say icons. This is how Astro icon works. You can do this remotely too, but I don't know. I've kind of ended up just like doing most of them locally instead, just because I don't, unless I have like tons and tons of icons, it doesn't super seem to make sense to me. So let's see what else we've got. We've got like a water thing, a time. I think I got these all from the same icon pack. So let's come back here. We'll say like water.svg. Water. There we go. What else do we want? Like, I guess we'd say like clock or something, SVG. Time. I don't know which one I did here. I mean, I guess it doesn't super matter. We'll do this because like kind of a stopwatch kind of thing. So let's call it stopwatch to SVG. Plant, water. What else do I have? House. SVG. Home. I don't know which one I used. Let's just, sure. And then, something, the SVG. I don't remember what the last one was. Stopwatch. This is like history or something. History.svg. Icons, history. Okay. So now let's come back over here and restart this thing. Local guarantees they load. Yeah. That's kind of the way I see it. Unless you've got like hundreds of icons, which I mean, I ain't building out anything like that. So. Okay. Why am I getting that? I've gotten this before. I don't remember why. And it's trying to pull it from PMPM anyhow, which is kind of weird. Name plant SVG. Astro icon. I did add it, right? Astro config. Okay, it didn't add it. Interesting. That would make sense, but we went through all that. Tailwind merge. Huh, where did I install the dependencies that we waited on forever? Evidently not here, so let's see. This is what I added. Maybe I added it. Oh, I added it to the folder. I never CD'd it into the folder. All right, any other questions? I'll gladly take them since now we gotta wait again. Guess we could think through this. I just don't want to miss this and slow it down, so we could look at the design and think through it, but I think I'll just wait. I'm not totally sure where I'm going to use React right now. Probably at least on the, maybe on the pop-up. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know how much I'm going to get to anyhow, especially since I've spent like half the stream now waiting on stuff to install. So. Okay. Yes, please. Yes, please. Okay. npm run dev. And now we should be good to go. There we go. Got all our stuff coming in. And eventually, this should work. What is going on? Okay, here we go. Let's reinsert this. Reload this. Experience breaking changes with the Astro so far. Honestly, I was just telling somebody that I mean, I've had sites since the early betas in Astro. I don't think I've ever had anything break that took me longer than 20 minutes to fix. Like, so I don't know. I just feel like the planning is, that's honestly why, like a lot of times why I use Astro instead of stuff like Next, even when I probably should use Next. It's just like, I don't want to have to always keep track of every single thing Next. Like when they like wake up in a bad mood, they change everything, you know, kind of thing. So, and maybe that's just, I don't know, maybe I'm just being grumpy, but it just seems like it changes so frequently So text, let's do like 2XL. Something like that. Items, center, flex. Why is this not centering? Maybe it just doesn't look centered. I don't know. So let's do margin top 2 or something. Margin top 1. So I don't know. That's my personal experience. Maybe I just don't build complex enough stuff. I don't know, but I haven't had any issues at all. Container. Let's do PY2. Yeah, that's been mostly been how I've done it. The only thing I've really had that's caused problems is Astro Icon, because it's a third-party package. I mean, it's developed by the creator of Astro, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's do flex, items center, justify between, and eventually we're gonna have that button over here. So let's build that button component out. First component, don't get stuck, Chris. Just build out a simple component. It doesn't have to have everything you could ever want in it. .tsx. Let's build this out using this, and this will be a button component. And I guess here, because it is a button, I have to decide now what I want to do with this. If I want it to be... See, this is the problem. Maybe let's build this out in Astro for now. So let's do that just so I don't cause problems for myself. Because I think I'm going to want to suddenly like build the whole thing in React, because I kind of do. Honestly, it's that kind of an app. But I think we're going to stick around. We're going to call this like add plant button or something like that. You know, this could be... Here's what we're going to do. Yeah. We're going to make this button TSX. It's only going to be for this one use case. All right, where we're going to add plants. So anywhere you want to add a plant, back at it. Here we go. That's what we're going to do. So button, this goes down the sidebar. We're going to say add plant. This will be inside of a span. Then let's go ahead and import. Let's see, plant from icons plant SVG. We're going to drop the plant in here. How can I do this? Like this? I don't remember. No. It's not a component. It doesn't componentize it, does it? I mean, typically I would make this its own little component. So let's maybe do that. So we'll come in here and we'll say like React or something like that. And then I'm going to drop this in here. And let's call this plant.tsx. And then svgr, we'll call this plant. This is another little extension I use in Raycast that will convert. If I can paste it in here, it will convert SVGs to like React components, but I don't need that. So maybe let's just import this instead. So plant from that, and then we'll just drop it in here as a component. All right, that should work. And then we'll have an onClick that we, I don't know if I need to pass this down. OnClick will be like handle submit or something like that. And I'll either pass down the function to like open and close the dialog or something like that here, or I'll just, but I think, yeah, let's just do handle submit equals, I don't think I need the event, and we'll say like submitted or something like that for now. Okay, so in here we've got the classes. Let's get this up on the page so I can actually see it. Let's see, nav. So this would be the button. Astro have SSR, has CSR? No, not yet. Well, I mean, yeah. Not like the whole app, but yeah, you can client-side render like anything you want. That's kind of the advantage of Astro. You can drop in any framework, which we're doing right now. So this button component is a React component, so it's client-side rendered. Now, the way Astro works by default, this will just render the HTML over here. It will not hydrate it at all. Kind of like Next's like server, like by default now, and you have to like opt in to use client, and all the use client does is hydrate the like the static HTML. So it actually renders all that, which if you're interested more in Next, I'm kind of thinking I'd really like to move to doing more Next stuff on my channel, because I'm interested in doing more apps that kind of would require Next, but right now I'm trying to stick in Astro just for the sake of kind of staying focused. But anyhow, that's a side thing. But I think Next is becoming more like Astro in its default state, which makes me more interested in it, as long as it stops changing constantly. But anyhow, all this will do is render the HTML by default. This would be like a server use server component, which is the default now in Next. But you can hydrate it on load in a couple different ways. You use the client directive here instead of doing like use whatever at the top of the file. You just do a client. If you do client load, it'll load right away. My favorite is client visible, because it will hydrate the JavaScript once it's visible on the page. Now this is going to be at the top of the page, so I can just do load, or yeah, that works. If you want React to actually generate its own HTML and hydrate it, you can use the client only and then pass it the name of the framework, in this case React. So anyhow, that's a little tutorial on that. So let's say client load. And now if I have this, it should, now that I clicked on it, it should say submitted down here, because that's, I think, what I said. Yeah, over here. So otherwise, if I don't have this client load and we get rid of this and I refresh and I click on this, nothing's going to happen because it's not hydrated. So Astro is going to build this out statically to start with, and then it will hydrate it on load with a React it needs over this way. And you can see that in the dev tools if you really want to. Okay, so let's add some classes here. We're going to see px, like, I don't know, 8, py2, background, slate 950, text, slate 50, flex, items, center, gap 1.5 maybe, something like that. You got the same thing with this, happens to look not quite right, so we're going to say margin top 1.5. Do I have a 0.5? Yeah, we have a 0.5. Something like that? Okay. I think that's mostly good. Let's add some hover states. So we'll say hover, background, slate 800 maybe. Let's do 900, just like real subtle. Probably not super helpful, I don't know. Do 800 and just call it a day. Transition, we'll do all because I want a ring on here as well. We'll say focus, we'll do outline none, and focus visible, we'll do outline, which I should probably do outline transparent there, but we'll do ring 4. Right now, let's just put it on so I can see it. There we go. Ring offset 2. This is just basically taking the box shadow, moving it off. Ring, what are we calling this? Slate, we'll do 950. Ring offset will be slate 50. I think that's mostly what I would do. Let's get rid of this. Make sure it works. That works. That works. Got to do the same thing for that Plantopia thing. So we're going to grab this and do something else with it later. But we got a functioning button now. So let's come back over here, and here we're also going to do a link.tsx. And here this will be a link. And let's take in a couple things. So we're going to have href, sure, we'll say like children, I guess. And the rest, whatever we happen to pass in. I don't really want to type all this, but whatever. We'll say link props. Type link props equals href is a string. Children is a React. What is this? Node? I don't think that's right. And rest, I don't think I have to type that actually. Yeah. So what we're going to do is come in here. The href will be equal to the href. The children will be right here. So it's like a slot, and then the rest we're just going to spread in right here. I guess we could also take in some classes. So this will also be a string. We'll just make these optional. Classes. And here we'll say class name equals, should I also, CLSX, I should probably also bring in here, but let's just, we're not going to do it. We're going to say twin merge. Merge, I don't see this. Okay. Import a link here. And we'll say like, hi, something. Okay. And we'll finish this off with a link. This needs an href, so we'll point it there. There we go. Okay, so a couple things here. I don't need this to be dynamic. Like it's a static thing, so it doesn't need to be hydrated really, but I'll build it in TSX just in case I want to use it in a React component. Let's say background. Here's where I would want to use like class variants authority, have a bunch of different options, but since all my buttons seem to look the same, all my links seem to look the same, this should work just fine. The only thing I want to do is set the max width to fit, so that even if it's in like a component for whatever I'm talking about, a component that's like a flex or grid child, it should still work. So let's see, I guess I have these all uppercase, so that's another thing to do. And bold, it looks like, maybe. So font bold, uppercase. And let's set the tracking to widest. That looks a little bit better. Let's see, text, we'll do like large. That looks about right. 6-ish maybe. Okay, so let's do the same thing. Since we've got a button component, let's just do the same thing. They're going to look the same and just function differently, obviously, depending if it's one or the other. Sure, that looks fine. Okay, so I think, let's see how we want to set this up. Maybe let's, I don't know, some of this logic, I'm going to have to probably install date and FNS or something. Whenever the temporal API gets to JavaScript, we could use that too. Let's come over to the base layout right here. This should probably be its own component at this point, but I ain't gonna change it right now. Let's get rid of a couple of things. So flex, item center, those are all repeats. I don't really need this to have padding. This is fine, we don't need that. Don't need a background. Don't need any of that. We could just say text slate 800, that's fine. Transition all. The rest of that I think looks good. There we go. Okay. So maybe let's work on configuring the database next. All right, so we're going to define a new table. Const define, what are we going to call this? Plant equals. Well, they say define table, I think. And here we have columns, and inside here we have the individual properties. So we'll have an ID, which will be column, which I have to import, dot number. And this is a default, no, what do we call this? What are my options? Primary key equals true. All right, and then let me pull up this thing, see what else we have. I guess here's what I decided to capture. Let's see what I decided to capture. Name, location, that'll work. So name, location, picture, which I think right now is just going to be a URL to like an Unsplash. So we'll say like image source or something like that. Next watering and water frequency. So these are going to be dates. Next watering. Column dot date. I know, it's going to be totally fine. All right, let's just add all three of these as strings so it'll be happy. So column dot text. And then this should be dot date, right? Yeah, okay. A water frequency. So here I'm going to do like, I think this is going to be a number. How many milliseconds? Water frequency. Dot number here. Okay, so I think that should work. And then let's just export this as a plant down here. And then we'll seed our file. So here I need to await db.insert into the plant where the values are. Man, if I remember all this, I'm going to give myself a high five. Let's see if this all works without having to look up the docs. This is why I want to rep Astro, is just so I don't have to, come on. So I don't have to like look up the docs constantly when I'm trying to teach stuff. So we'll say plant 1. And I think I saw somebody comment something, so I'll be right there. We'll say this is going to be in the like living room area. And here, let's look at Unsplash. We'll say plants. That'll work. Copy. Isn't there a URL? Yeah. Perfect. Date. Let's set a default on this config. Oh, let's see if I can remember this. Maybe I don't have to. Default. Is it like a now? Something? Now? Maybe? So let's not include this for now. Water frequency, we'll say like, I don't know, something like that for now. Okay, I think maybe we did everything. String image cannot be used as index type. What did I do wrong? Name string location image. Can I use, what? Is an index type. I'm not sure I understand. Oh, man. So really looking forward to that high five too. Image source. Location living room plant 1. I think this should auto generate. This should auto generate. This number. Am I gonna have to look this up? Astro DB. All right, no high five. That's fine. What am I doing wrong here? Those all work. Insert, comment, values. I don't see what I'm doing. All right, if you see what I'm doing, let me know. All right, let's see. Content in your thumbnail. Hey, awesome. Hey, you're welcome. I don't know what I'm doing over here. Insert plant. Well, when all else fails, reload the window. And then just pray really hard. Okay. Oh, no. I didn't pray hard enough. Name, string, frequency cannot be used as a number type or as an index type. What am I doing wrong? Let's come over here. Next watering. Maybe I just need to add this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing exactly. It's wrong here. I don't know how these dates have to be arranged. Is it like 2024, 06, 02 or something like that? I don't remember how these have to be. Let's come back over here. Define table. Make sure I did this correct, I guess. Define table. Columns. Whatever the thing happens to be. We did all that. Then, doesn't have to export it somewhere. Yeah, down here. That's what I did. Async seed await db.insert plant dot values. It's an array of objects. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Let me just get rid of some of these things in case that's causing the issue. And then let's restart the dev server. and see what happens. Because I can't see anything I'm doing wrong. Is an index type. I don't know. Well, let's just say it's going to work and it's a TS problem. So let's do that. I'm going to come over here and not worry about it. First thing I want to do is come over here. We're going to import or const our plants equals await db dot select dot from plant. That must not be right. We were doing so well too. Select dot from plant. This is function here. Is that what I did over here? No. It's like maybe I had that was the problem. I don't know. So let's come in here and we're just going to say everything here. Let's actually come over to our base layout. I think this can be class of container. And here we're going to take our plants, that map over each plant, and just return the name. Well, I guess it was not just a type problem. Man, what am I messing up? Select from plant. This is giving me nothing, I'm guessing, huh? An empty array. I think now is a function. Yeah, I think so too. Even when I removed that, it wasn't helping me. Like you're saying this needs to be called? No, that isn't like that. It's not callable. But even when I removed this, it wasn't working. Columns. And why am I messing up? I mean, it's obviously me. Columns. I have an ID. Let's just make this bare minimum. And let's come over here to the seed file. It's something here. What am I doing wrong? Okay, let's just get rid of this and restart like none of that ever happened. And let's just insert it directly here. I'm going to change this out for plant. And now what we're going to do is come inside here. And we're going to have a name. And this will be equal to plant 1. Oh, I don't think I put parentheses around mine. Are you serious? Told you it was my fault, but well, that was stupid. Okay, so let's come back over here. Please be their name. I killed it. It gave up on me. Exports.now is not a function. Okay, well now we got to figure that out too. But okay, let's do next watering. Okay, so it is a function. So take that. That was from earlier, I think. Okay. We did the thing. Let's work on the cart component. This will, let's see, how do we want to handle this? So I think these are just going to be links, and I'll just use view transitions to like move them between stuff. I'll just have a hard refresh. Or actually, they should just be a form with a link inside of it, and then I'll submit the form. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Okay. So let's build a card component. We'll say card dot, I don't know, we're not going to really use this. Let's just stick with Astro for now. Plants name, we're going to pass this to our card. And we'll do like item equals whatever we pass in. Cool. Let's pull it in the card. If I can. Thanks for sticking with me through all that. Pull the card in here. Let's see. In here, we're going to receive const, really, the item, astro.props, and then we'll say type props equals item. And here, probably the best thing to do, I don't think there's a way to extract the type off of these DB things yet. I mean, and they're not really defined anyhow. Like I would want to use Zod or something like that, but I don't want to set all that up right now. I don't even know that I could. So let's say types. I mean, I have to look it up. So I will do like plant.tx. And here, let's just come over to the config and grab all this and export type plant. And here, I say this is a number. I'll say that all these are strings. This is a date. And this is also a number. All right, so we'll say that this is type of plant. Again, let's see. Someone asked why next and not Astro, so I'll ask why not SvelteKit. I wish I don't know SvelteKit. That's one of the things I want to learn. Hey, no worries, Logan. It's recorded and you can watch it later. And the best part is you can skip past all the dumb mistakes. So, so that's all the stuff I need. So let's go ahead and just, so I don't have to type plant over and over again or whatever. We'll just destructure all these things. Let's see, image source, location, name, watering, and water frequency. All right, so let's call this thing an article. That makes sense to me. And let me get one of these. Let's just like, I know I've got the Figma extension, but I'm just gonna grab this right here. Sure. And I'm just gonna drop this in like an assets folder. I don't even know if we're gonna need any pictures, but then I can pull this up side by side. Okay. So let's see. Let's the top little section here. Do I have like a border on these? No, I guess not. Okay. So this will be our image, and the source here. We'll pull this in. Will be image source. And I think what we're going to do is come over to my config and set up the images. Is there audio anymore or music? It looks like there is. It's just real quiet. And we'll do domain something something. Come on. Well, since VS Code is being dumb, I'll look it up. Let's see, remote images. Where are we at? Authorizing remote images. Here we go. Images, domains. I was right. We're going to say unsplash. What was this? All right, so that should work. Let's see. Wasn't there like a remote? Maybe this was inside of the authorizing. I want like the auto size thing. Fallback. Nah, we'll figure it out. Okay. It's probably on this type anyhow. Let's see. Alt will be the name, and then we'll have the auto. What's this thing? Oh man. Intrinsic. Infer size. There we go. Okay, so I should be able to infer this size. Failed to get the dimensions. Why? This should be unsplash.com. Maybe this config has to be restarted. And maybe it just has to say like unsplash.com or something like that. Let's restart this just in case. A remote URL image is accurate. Okay, then if that's not the case, let's come over to my seed file. Maybe this is giving me access to like the page it's on, but not the actual image file, which I think is what's going on. Okay. So what I need is this copy image address. This needs to be here. There we go. Okay, cool. And now it can infer the size properly, which is good. Let's close this down, infer size. Now I actually want to set a width on here, and we'll do like, I don't know, 400. And we'll set a height as well. And we'll do like 250, maybe. 200, 175, something like that. Let's see. A couple comments. Astro, do you have a UI Studio? Yeah, it does. var plant, yeah. Obi-Wan Kenobi says, but if it only works if you deploy to AstroDB, their managed hosting. Their database solution does, yep. Self-hosted DB, which case there's no studio. Yeah. Yeah, it actually renders this in this .astro file. It's just like a SQLite file, so you can do whatever you want with that. So especially if you're building locally and you just want to deploy that in your own way, you don't have to use Astro Studio. It's got such a generous free tier that for most of what I'm using it for, I don't see a reason not to use it. Let's see. Class here. We'll do, for some reason, yeah, I don't know why this is. Maybe something like that. We'll do a height. So I'm going to actually do fixed stuff on this, which probably is not super wise. I think it's fine. Alright, and we'll do object fit. Or cover. There we go. That should work. Something like that. And we'll bump this down a touch. Is there like an 86? 80 something? Alright, now we get the plant name. It's gonna feel like these should all be inside of a grid container. Yep, like 2. And I should probably do like a little heading component, but ain't nobody got time for that, so I've already built one out on stream a couple times. So we would just say whatever the name is here. Font bold. Let's do tracking wide. And text, like 2XL. Something like that. So I wouldn't mind having some of that indented a touch. So I kind of feel like this needs to be inside of its own little grid container. Gap 2. That. And that way I can do like a padding X of 2 on it or something too, just to bring it in a touch. Let's see what we want here. We're going to have all this stuff down below. Here's where we'll have to do a little bit of like calculating. So how do I want to do this? Maybe we should make another little component. Let's do that. We're going to call this thing, oops. We'll call this thing like icon, I don't know, component text thing. Naming stuff. Am I right? Okay. So here we're going to take in an icon, a label, and text, basically. From astro.props. So we'll say type props equals icon. This will be a string. Technically it's a string to a location, but whatever. Label, this will be a string, and text, this will be a string, which is immensely helpful. And then what we're going to do is loop through the location, the name, the watering, all that stuff, and just add them in here as icon text, where they're going to have an icon. So here, this was called, where's my image at? Did I get rid of my image? All right, let's see if I can do all this on this incredibly zoomed in screen. Right here. Okay, so the icon here will be, I guess I could also pass it as a type and then pick that off, but it's going to be the same thing. So here we're going to say water. The label will be next watering. And the text will be, for right now, I'm just going to do like 8 days. So we'll eventually use probably like date FNS to do this. But let's just get this in here so that it's actually working. Okay, so now let's come over here and let's move this here maybe and close the sidebar and try to see if we can do this. Okay, so we're going to have this. This will be a flux container. Gap 2 probably. And we'll do item center, I think. And we're going to have the icon right here from Astro icon, where the name will be the icon that was passed in. And the size will be 24 or something like that. We can play around with that. Look at that. Then we're going to have a little grid stack here. And we'll have to do like a gap. Do we even need a gap? Probably not. So I probably don't even need this as a grid container then, but what's done is done. Can't change it. Impossible. Span here will be uppercase. The text will be like extra small. Anything else I need? Font sans. I think this is the only place I used sans in the whole site. And then here we'll say whatever the label is. And then below here we'll say this will be a paragraph, which I guess this could be 2. Doesn't really matter. They're grid children anyhow, so they're not blocks or spans. Let's see. Class is text 2XL, font semi-bold. Let's drop in the text here. Something like that. Maybe we should not make this a grid. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Here we're going to say leading is none, because that should kind of scooch that in. We're going to say uppercase and tracking wide. That's loosely okay. Maybe we don't use that though. I feel okay about that. Okay, we're going to call that good. Let's go ahead and do the same thing here though. We're going to copy this down a few times. Let's see, next watering, we're going to call this water frequency. Here we'll say like 2 times a week. And this icon here will be the stopwatch, maybe. Down here we're going to say history. I think that's what we called that. We'll say last watered 4 days ago. And then finally we'll say location. And this I'm going to get from the actual location that I passed in. The rest of those will need to be calculated. And this will say location. Actually, this says location. I think this was house or something, or home. There we go. Okay. I'd say that generally looks kind of like what we want. Icon, text, card. Maybe here, I bump this up a touch. Okay, and then finally we're going to have a button. And this will... Actually, this would just be... This is where my form is going to come in handy. Yeah. Here's what we're going to do. I can post to this endpoint. And what we're going to do is have a couple things. So you can just have... Well, first of all, let's put a button in here. Why is my button not importing? I have a button. I built it out in React, I think, right? That should work. What does my button take? Nothing. Oh yeah, that was my button only for that and nothing else forever. I forgot. Oh yeah, and this is a link anyhow, which I literally just said. So let's change these all to link. And I Command-Shift-L, so that should pull that in. Now this requires a couple things. So it requires an href. Wait. It has to be a button if I want to submit. Okay, sorry. Let's go. Let's create a little Let's see. Let's create a button component. We'll say like Astro button or something like that. Which I don't really like calling it these kinds of things, but whatever. What's done is done, cannot be changed. We're going to grab all this. And do I even need this? No. This is the only place I'm using this. Don't make more work for yourself. Which could be like the subtitle to every live stream. Don't make more work for yourself. All right, here we're going to get rid of this. And we're just going to call this thing, let's see, add plant. Okay, perfect. Move to today. This is a class here. That should work. Okay, now the only other thing is if I want to mark it as watered, I would do that as well. So maybe what we should do is have two different forms depending on what it is. So let's have one of the thing we take in here. And this would be like, well, I can figure this out here, right? If this is today. So we'll say const like is today equals, and right now we're just going to say true. We'll have to calculate this. But then right here for the form, here I can just say like, if is today, then say like mark watered, I think is how the design was. Otherwise we'll say move to today. And the more important thing is we're going to have an input here. And this will be type of text, and it will be hidden eventually. So let's not hide it for now, just so I can see it right here. And this will have a, what do I want on this? Value. And the value here will just be, if it is hidden or is today, then the value will be like mark watered or something like that. Otherwise it will be moved to today. And we should be able to check this. So right now it says mark watered. And we could say, how do you like editable or something? Let's see. Prevent input from being edited HTML. Isn't there some kind of read only? So we're going to say you can't change it. And then we'll hide it. All right, so that way we can check this value. Is that what I want? Oh yeah, I would need a name though too. So let's name this something like action. All right, hopefully this makes sense. So what we're gonna do is when we submit this, it's posting like this action, water or mark water. Okay, cool. So it actually should post this with that action. I think that makes sense. And then we'll capture that in the actual page and mark it watered or not. Let's see. Used aspect ratio. Oh, that's a good idea. Hey, thanks, Kyle. I appreciate the kind words. Oh, man, what kind of time do I have? Not much. All right, so what should we do next? Let's maybe get some more content in here. So look, let's come over to my seed file. I'm just going to say, like, give me 10 more of these with different values for each. Who knows what these images will be? So they could be nothing. That would be my guess, but we'll see. Well, it's thinking. Come on. All right, we'll paste that into the code. And let's see, let's come up here. Okay, cool, that works. So plant 7, 8 days ago, 2 weeks ago, those are all hard coded, so that makes sense. Terrace, ooh, wow. I'd like a terrace, patio, study room, balcony. This guy has 1 plant per house, or per room in his house. And they're all the exact same, cool. All right, isn't there like a unsplash random image or something that you can get. Get out of here. You just have to change the parameters. Oh yeah. So let's do that. So except here what we're going to do is say plant and, I guess I could just do this, right? And then what we're going to do is, let's see, text pastry. Let's see if that did it. So it should just grab random images of plants. Okay, done. I don't know, is this person the plant? Possible. All right, so now we seeded these. Let's come in here, and what we need to do is figure out if it is today and like split them up the way we've marked these. But for now, what we should probably do is have some kind of wrapper here. So we're going to say grid, which would probably be my preference here, is to use grid. Gap like 6 maybe. And then we'll put these on here. Yeah, that needs a little bit more breathing room. Maybe even more on bigger screen sizes. Something like that. And then let's do grid calls. And then let's do something like autofill, which is something we're going to have to create because that doesn't exist. So we'll say grid columns, template columns. Why is this thing not giving me... See when I have to leave. I got about 25 minutes maybe. Grid, template, columns. Come on. Is this... Did that mess it up? Grid columns. Okay, whatever. Demo class. This is what we want. I name this autofill, and I want this to be... I can't remember how to do this. Autofill grid columns something. Okay. As you can see, I come to this one a lot. Autofill, except I think I want it to be autofill. All right. Let's close this down. That'll work. So as I get bigger, that works. Okay, cool. So let's come over here. We're going to say this would be place justify center, I think. Items start, in case they're next to each other, one's longer than the other. That should work. Let's see. Let's come over to my base layout. Now container. This should have container on it, which means it should have some spacing either side, and I'm not seeing that. So let's come over here to Tailwind container. I thought you could have like a default or something, right? Center true default. Oh, all caps. Default. It's little things like this because I usually use like Copilot and stuff when I'm developing just myself. Little things like that that you just don't think about. But I don't know. I feel like it mostly hasn't been a negative for me. I've tried to keep it to where I'm still thinking, but easier said than done sometimes. Let's say grid gap like 8 or something like that and just space these out this way. Every time I'm reloading, it's like giving me these new ones again, so it's kind of slow, but whatever. Let's call this thing like Plantopia or whatever. Class grid place items center P4. There we go, Plantopia. And maybe while we're here, let's just, oops, sorry for moving around on you. Let's drop it in like this instead. Oh man, how pro does that look? We're gonna say border top 2. Border slate 950, which I know looks like black, but it isn't. Look at that. Okay. Okay. Everything done but the actual functionality, which is kind of per the usual. So that's kind of how we roll. Well, what I'm going to do is take all this and wrap this here inside of something else. And we're going to say class equals all that. And then here, just so it looks similar, we're going to say class, and we'll say border bottom to border, say 950. I think that's fine. py2, that's kind of what I have down here, right? Let's give this thing maybe a little bit more room. 3. Okay. I mean, come on, right? Let's see, what do we have over here, though? This was our button. So I think what this needs to be is a full, like, modal. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to come over here. We'll have, like, plant form or something like that, .tsx. And that's what we're going to bring into this layout here. Plant form, which I called plan form for some reason. Let's just call it plant modal. And we'll do plant modal. Come on. Okay. Plant modal. All right, so here we're going to have a couple things. How do I want to do this? Doesn't really matter what this thing is in. So you could control this just with React state, but you've got HTML dialog element, so why not use that? So we're going to do that. So we've got a dialog element. We've also got our button, which I don't need to hydrate here because I've already hydrated the parent component, so it should be hydrated already with the JavaScript it needs. We'll say like, oops, like stuff here. All right, so I have a dialog that's not visible, but here I'm just gonna, on click, I need to pass down probably a little function here that says like const open dialog. I guess, I mean, there's nothing really to open here, but we're gonna grab, we'll call it dialog ref, and we're gonna use ref and pop this on here. Ref equals dialog ref. Oh, I gotta pass this as like HTML dialog, right? Is that right? Dialog HTML attributes, and maybe pass this as null. I don't remember. Dialog element. I think I can just do that. Okay, yeah, now it's happy. All right, now what we're gonna do is say dialog ref.current. It's like open, something like that. Isn't it just something like this? I don't remember. I did a video on this. Boolean not true. Let's see. React or HTML dialog element. It's just a function I call it, right? What is it? I don't remember what it is. Show. Aha. There we go, because open is just the attribute. All right, so that should work. So let's pass this down, because this is really all it needs to do. button here, which I should just pass down the submit, whatever happens to be. This is stupid because now I'm going to be duplicating this multiple times. All right, let's just pass down handle submit. Handle submit. And this will be I think that should work. All right, so let's do that. So we'll say handle submit. Probably also then, if we're going to do it right, let's do it right. This should be children so that we can reuse this component. And we're going to take in, what am I doing? Okay. We're going to take in the children here as well. And then do type button props equals, no, what is this? Handle submit. And this will be void. And then children will be a React node, I think. And then here, we're just going to type this all as button props. I think that's right. Children will go inside that, which right now there's no children, so that makes sense. Let's see, I don't need that. Let's come over here. This needs to be now not self-closing. And we're going to pop these in here and have this plant be pulled in from here. Yeah, okay. So here we're going to open the dialog when we submit this. Stuff here, cool. Okay, now this dialog should be, is it going to be contained to this? I thought it would be in the center of the page. How are we going to do this then? Shout out watching here from Philippines. Also, awesome. Welcome. Let's see, I've got legitimately like a few minutes. Let's just get something going. Let's come inside here. We're going to do background slate 50. We'll do padding. P6. Shadow XL. I don't remember what else I had. Something like this. Okay. Then we've got our own little button inside of here, which will submit this, because this should be actually a form. And here we're going to take this action, right? We're going to set this to, what do I do over here? Action is post. Is that what I want? Now I'm doubting myself. We'll say post, because this should just submit to the page like anything else, and then I can pick that up. I think that works. Okay. So here we're going to have inputs for all these, which means I need a little input component, input.tsx. And this is going to be a text, or input type of text. Let's see, how do I want to handle this? Really, I need a label, and I'll just use that, I think, to generate all the rest of this. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So, yeah, let's not overcomplicate it. Label is type of string. All right, so what we're going to do is have two things here. This will be div, where we'll have a label. That'll be 4. And here we're going to say, here we're going to say label dot replace all. Anything with the space, we're going to replace with the dash. It's a very simple, like slugify function. And then we'll just take the label in here. And then we'll take the input type here. And I guess, do we want a placeholder? I don't know. Let's just do the rest here. And we'll spread this in here. And I can do it that way. Type text, so the ID and the name are going to be the exact same as this. Spread child must be an array. What did I do? Name equals this. ID label. Okay, there we go. So the ID name should be that. The input should be that. And I guess this can be self-closing too, right? Okay, so let's see if we can pull this in here. So I have an input. And this requires just one thing, which is a label. And that would be like plant name. So we'll say plant name. Okay. There we go. Okay, so let's show this. Plant name. Hey, it did a thing. Okay, let's come back over here. I don't have time to do all this now. Class name. I mean, I feel like we went okay. We weren't super slow today. Grid. What does this thing look like? Okay, so this is class name, uppercase, text, maybe extra small, font, bold, tracking, wide, booyah. Okay. Input, we're going to say class name, slate 50. I feel like this thing needs to be more intense. So let's say like shadow slate. Okay. No, I don't really like that, but whatever. Let's do 900 by 40. Okay. Back to what we were supposed to be doing. Let's get this thing having a border. Well, let's first of all get some padding. We'll say border 2. Border slate 950. PY 1.5. 1. PX 2.5. Or something. Sure. Okay. Let's see what else. I think that'll work. What happens if I pass along a placeholder? Which I should be able to do here. Placeholder. So it does pass that along. It just doesn't know it can. So here's where I have to type this somehow, and I just forget how to do this. So I'm not going to worry about it. So for now, let's get rid of that. Plant name. Let's see. Let's make sure we can focus it, and it has a good focus state. So we'll say focus. Outline the same, or outline none. We'll say ring 4 for now. Ring focus visible. Ring 4. Eventually, that's what we'll have. The ring will be offset by 2. Maybe. Ring offset will be slate 50. The ring itself will be slate 950. I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe we should just do ring 4, no ring offset, and call it a day. Whoa! Let's do ring 2. There we go. That'll work. Okay, so we got plant name. Let's drop in the other ones we need, which thanks to this, we can just bada bing bada boom the whole way through. Plant location. Plant picture. Next to watering. Okay, so this is going to have to be a little bit different because this is going to be a date. Water frequency will also be different, but for now, just to get something going on. Water, just so we can actually add stuff. Next watering and water frequency. So my idea for these would be we would have like a drop down of like, oh man, this is all the way stuck up there. So I do need to figure out how to like get this thing somewhere else. Maybe I shouldn't be using React here. Maybe that's my issue. Let's see. So what I would do is have a drop down of like how many, and then like so it'd be like 2 or twice every whatever, and then the second drop down would be like week or month or year or day or whatever. So this would be like 2 drop downs next to each other. Next watering would just be a date. So I think that's how I would do it. But yeah, we'll see. Let's see if I can like just move this fixed. Inset 0. Sure, that'll work. Backdrop will be slate like 500. What happens there? Nothing. So this should open. Oh, it's going to be up there, I think, is the problem. Maybe? I don't know. Okay, whatever. Either way, it should open it here, and then we'll have a button at the end that will submit this form. Should be the same, right? Yeah. All right, so let's come back to the forum or the dialogue, whatever, right here. Grid, cap. Oh, there's like a random spider. 2. Other thing I need to do is have an on click here. Handle or like close dialogue. Handle close maybe. Because what I want is const handle close, and this should take e dot current target. If this equals e dot target, then I want to dialog this const. Actually, let's just do this. Let's copy this. I'll say close total close dialog. I think that's right. And then here we'll just say close dialog. This should just be like an event, whatever, like a click event, touch event. What do they call these things? Some kind of event. It's an event. Event target. I don't remember what this is. It's this. React mouse event handler. So it'd be a React mouse event. I think that's right. No? Oops. I don't know. Get out of here. Who cares? Let's just any this thing. What do you know, TypeScript? I forget how to do that. Okay. So if I click here, this opens the dialog, and now I can say something, say something, say something, say something, and say something, and add the plant, and it posts it here. That should work. What do I want this to say? It's not action. Method. Post. Goodness, Chris. All right, so that's what I want, because action is going to direct it to a different page. So let's do the same thing just to make sure. Oh, look at that. The form's still right there. So actually what we need to do is also clear stuff. Well, if it posts to the page, it should clear. It should clear the state. So this would be method. I think that works. Yeah, so it's posting to the page. That's good. Okay, so let's come over here. This whole thing is server-side rendered. So what we should be able to do is, let me come over to my seed database. And now that we've got all these, let's just kill some of these right here. Temporarily. So I've only got one right now, which also makes me think we probably need to set a little bit more styling here, not to like get all distracted or anything. Min height would be screen. And then what are we gonna do? Grid calls. We'll do auto. Let's just do it inline here. Auto, 1FR, auto. Oh boy. That was supposed to be rows. Much better. Okay, back to what we were supposed to be doing. Let's come over here. Plant model. Let's fix this first. So when this gets submitted, I want a separate little input here. And let me actually come over to the card and steal this. Right here. And this is going to be, the value is going to be add plant. Is this like a read only thing or something like this in React? Probably. The name is action, the type is text, add plant, that works. Okay. So I should be able to figure out the name of the form that's been submitted. So let's come back over here. Don't they have an example where I could just steal this? Method post, that's what we're doing. Yeah, let's just steal this. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get all that. I'm not doing this. Oh, I think I forgot there was a form dated meta on here. So can I just like, yeah, let's just take this for now. Action. Off action. That'll work. And let's console.log the action. Okay, so if I click here, it says mark watered. Twice somehow. Maybe I double clicked it. Okay. So if you refresh it, it's going to submit this form. I got to figure that out too at some point. But if I come in here and say name, whatever, I should probably make these things required. Then now it says add plant, which is what I want. Okay, cool. So now I know basically what the options are. So we could do a little switch statement. Or let's just do ifs. So if action equals add plant, then we're going to add a plant. Otherwise, if action equals mark watered, then we're going to water it. And then if action equals to today or is today or move to today, I think is what that was, then we'll move it to today. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. We need an API endpoint for this. Boy, we are up against it. API, we're going to add plant.json.ts. Why not? Const export. No, const export. Const post API route. What kind of weird music is playing right now? Shouldn't watching here from Philippines. Let's see. Are you using Tailwind? Yes, I am. Input tag doesn't have a closing HTML tag. Oh yeah, that was earlier. I should have paid attention to you. Sorry. Let's see. We got the request. What y'all need from here at least. And then we'll just return. Let's steal some of this too, so I don't have to build all this out. Do they not have? Where's my API endpoint? Oh, you're just doing it directly from there, maybe? Let's do, let's see, API. Reference. That's not what I want. What do I want? Dynamic. Saving myself from typing this out, and it takes 12 years to find what I want. Okay, so what I want is to post like this. request. That works. That'll work. Okay, that's at least a starting point. Mark this thing as async so I can do that work in it. All right, so let's come back over here. And first of all, we're going to say, let's grab the body. And then off this body, we're going to need several things. So if body dot, let's open up the config and split this. And for a second, I'm going to make this a little smaller just so I can actually see. Let's see, if body, I guess we're just going to check off all these. And you should definitely, let's mark this just so nobody takes this and destroys the world. Let's say that here you should definitely do some kind of like check or like HTML sanitization. Sanitize. 6:40. I gotta make sure I can leave on time. Okay. I got like 5 minutes max. So what we're gonna do is say if body max, if that, or if body dot name, you should probably also check the types here, but whatever. Body dot location. Let's just, I don't want to type body 1,000 times. So we'll say ID, name, location, image source, next watering, and water frequency from the body. That if any of these do not exist, ID or name, do the same thing here. All right, so if any of these do not exist, then we're going to return this. Okay, so down here I should have all these items now, and they should be all be the type of string. I should probably check that they're type of string 2 for TypeScript, but I don't care enough right now. I don't think we have time. Okay, so then what we're going to do is grab our C. We'll jump back in here. We'll grab the same exact idea here. Assuming that we've got those, we're going to await DB, insert plant, or we're going to insert, I guess I don't need an ID, right? Because that shouldn't actually be created by me. All right, I think that works. And then what we're going to do is simply spread in the name, the location, the image, the next, and the water frequency. All right, and then assuming that this is successful, which this should be in a try catch, but ain't nobody got time for that right now. We're just gonna write this back. Success equals true or something like that. Can I do that? Status 200. Okay, I think that's all right. So let's see what happens. Let me come over here. We're just going to grab plant 2 here. Plant, kitchen, this. You know what I should probably do is come over here first and make sure that I'm actually doing something with this. So const res equals, we're going to await a fetch to, we're going to have to do astro.url.origin, even though we're on the origin right now, /API/add plant.json. Here we're going to have the method of post, the headers, we'll do application, let's just steal it from over here, content type, because I almost just messed it up, application JSON. And the body, I know, it's coming, will be my data. Is that what I want? Yeah, I won't do anything with my action, so that shouldn't super matter. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll JSON dot stringify the data, because I don't think this is stringified right now. Okay, so assuming we did that correct, which it's a huge assumption. What time is it where you are? It's like 6:50 right now in the morning. Good morning, Josh. Welcome. All right, and then I have to go after this, whether or not it works. So if it doesn't work, you've been here for no reason whatsoever. Whatever this happens to be. Didn't work. Let's try it one more time. And real quick. Res. Because this should submit here. Redirected, false, status okay. Bad request. How dare you? When got name, location, next watering. Oh, I probably have to name these things the same thing. Okay, so we're going to have location last watered. Image source. What did I call this thing? Plant location. So that means we're going to have to do some work, but that's fine. Plant location, because it's going to be like this. Plant location. That was probably a dumb idea. Let's come back to the form. Don't I have like a add dialogue form? What did I call that thing? Components, plant model. Input is what I'm interested in. And here we're going to replace all these with underscores at least, just so I can reference them directly here. Basically, I need to name these things the same thing, and the name on the input is what it's going to be passed along to the form dialog or whatever. So what do we call this thing? Now I got to open this back up. Plant location. Let's see, we called this plant picture. Next watering, that should work. Water frequency. Okay, so I'm going to check against all those, and then here we're going to pass this on as the image plant picture, plant location, water frequency. Almost named it the same thing, but not quite. Okay, I think that should now work. Let's come over here and watch this. And maybe, oh, we can't watch it because it's over here. Let's just watch it here then. Plant name, plant 2, location, living, wait, terrace. If you were here earlier. Let's drop that in here. Next watering, we'll do like, I don't know. It's supposed to be some kind of number, so is that. Oh, stink. I messed up. Well, I don't have time to fix this, unfortunately. But at least we got a decent amount there. Redirect false, status 400, status text. What's the matter with you? Why don't you like this? Bad request. Add plant.json, status text, bad request. Why is this a bad request? I mean, it's hitting this. Am I not returning? No. Turning the response true. If it doesn't have these things that come along with it, name, plant location. Okay, one more. This is plant name, I think is what we call this. Plant name, plant location. Okay. Name is plant name. Location is plant location. Next watering is next watering. It's the only one I did the same. Plant name, plant name, plant name. Okay, last time. Plant 2, location. Oops. Terrace. Next watering something, next something something. Come on, work, please. For the children. I don't know. So I'm not totally sure what I'm doing here, but clearly there's something syntax-wise I'm messing up, so. I guess maybe I can get rid of this. I don't know. I don't have time because I gotta go. I gotta take my son to an appointment. So Thanks anyhow. Hopefully that was enjoyable for you. I will catch you whenever I do something else again. I'll probably throw this code up. I might mess with it a little bit more, but just trying to rep it, and hopefully you enjoyed it as well. I'll chat with you later. Thanks.